Hi, it's KT and welcome to Uniquely KT. How is everyone doing today? Today's video is going to talk about my hospital stay. I had to report to the hospital at 10 a.m. I did get there around 9:45-ish in the morning. The first thing I had to do when I got to the hospital, I went to the admissions. Since my girlfriend was my one visitor, we were both given masks and wristbands, and it's just some need to know information of how the hospital was running since the rules and everything were a little different due to the COVID-19 situation. After I went through admissions, I did go through to the area where they confirm your insurance, make sure that you've paid the portion that you have to pay. The amount that I had to pay, I will actually cover that in another video for you guys, just to give you some more information. After I went through verifying my insurance and getting the payment information together, I was then sent back to the waiting room. I was not in the waiting room long. They actually came back and got me in about 10 or 15 minutes. My girlfriend did have to stay in the waiting area. She was allowed to leave or go walk around the hospital or whatever she wanted to do. They did give her a sheet of paper and my number, like a specific number for me where she could monitor my progress. Was I in surgery? Was I in waiting? Was I in recovery? So she could monitor that on the board, and it's really HIPAA friendly, confidential. The only people that would actually know the status is if they have your personal number that they actually give you. So while I was in the waiting area in the back, they were basically getting me prepped for surgery. During that time, they made me take off all my clothes, get in a gown. They put all my personal belongings in a bag, and they did let me know that it would be waiting for me in my room once I made it out of recovery. They let me keep my glasses because I told them I couldn't see without them, so they let me keep those until I was actually going back into surgery. The only bit of a holdup is they wanted me to use the restroom, and I could not use the restroom. They wanted to give me a pregnancy test just to make sure I wasn't pregnant beforehand. But because I had not had anything to eat or drink since 12 midnight the night before, it was really hard for me to use the restroom. So I got back there about 10:15 in the morning. However, I actually didn't go back till surgery until about 1 p.m. because my surgeon refused to actually go through with anything until he got that I was actually had a negative pregnancy test. They would not take my word for it. So it was really just a waiting game at that point. After I was able to use the restroom, after about 4 or 5 bags of IV fluid, I did finally go to the restroom. And then at about 1 o'clock, they did go ahead and take me back for surgery. I don't really remember much. All I remember is they took me back to the operating room. She had me put a mask on my face. All I really remember at that point is I was getting ready to ask her to take that mask off of my face, or could I move it down, just because I'm very uncomfortable with things on my face. But before I could even say anything, I guess I was knocked out asleep. So I'm assuming that was the anesthesia medicine there. The next thing that I remember is I was waking up in recovery. And as soon as I was actually waking up, they were actually getting ready to roll me into my room. My girlfriend and my belongings were already in the room waiting for me, so everything was set up. They got me transferred to the hospital bed, and that's actually where I just kind of was content for a few hours. At about 6 or 7 p.m., they brought me what they call a dinner tray. It was all liquid, so they wanted me to try to consume as much of it as possible. They had some Boost protein supplement shake in there. They also had Powerade Zero, unsweetened tea. They even had some type of cream of chicken soup that was very thin. I know they usually come condensed and kind of thick, but they actually thinned it out. Water with the Crystal Light pack. So I had many different options. They knew I wasn't going to get through all of it. However, it was something for me to sip on throughout the rest of the night. It was actually really helpful My throat was very sore due to the tubes that they used during, I guess, the anesthesia process. I was having an issue coughing up a lot of mucus, a lot of blood. I was a little concerned about it. The doctor and nurses said it was normal just because of the tubes may have scratched my throat when they were inserting it down there. But it was perfectly normal. They did give me some type of spirometer device to use that I needed to use at least every hour, at least 10 times within that hour. And it just helps with your breathing to make sure that you don't get pneumonia and to make sure that it's opening you up to where you can cough up that mucus and that it's not just staying lodged, you know, in your chest, in your throat, and just causing a lot of congestion. So that did help a lot with that, as well as those liquids. So throughout the night, since it was my first night out of surgery, my pain was at about a 9. I figured it was just like a lot of gas that I had after surgery. I also noticed I had some soreness around my incisions. So the night after surgery, I did not get up and walk much unless it was back and forth to the restroom or just around my room. I did not go walking into the hallway just because of the amount of pain that I was in. The next morning, my surgeon actually came and let me know that if I would like, then I'd be able to check out sometime that afternoon if I thought, you know, I was well enough, wasn't in a lot of pain. Because I had not got up and walked a lot, I was still, you know, in a lot of pain. So I did tell him, you know, that I would like to stay another day. So I did not check out the day after my surgery. I actually, you know, did stay another night. During that, you know, the day after surgery, I did get up and walk a lot. I was up. The nurse aide, she had me up walking at least 3 times within that day, and I did 3 laps around the floor, at least those 3 times. So that really did help relieve a lot of gas that was in my stomach area and my chest area. It helped me to feel a whole lot better. Another thing that really helped me a lot to get through the pain of those incisions were some hot packs that the hospital provided. So at least every 3 hours, my nurses were bringing me at least 3 hot packs where I could place them over my stomach area, over the incisions, and they were so helpful. They did help relieve a lot of the pain as well as that walking. I will insert a clip of what those look like for you guys. So in case your hospital does have them, you can, you know, ask for them, because they're a great help. It's almost like a heating pad, but you don't have to plug anything up, and they're not reusable. So that helped a lot. That was awesome. By the day after surgery, my pain level after the walking and after using those hot packs, my pain went down to about a level 5. So I was feeling better from the night before when I was in the most pain. On that second day of my hospital stay, for breakfast, I was brought some yogurt. I was also brought some pureed pears, also a lot more liquids. So I was able to get some of that down. Of course, not all of it, but I did get, you know, enough in. For lunch, they already had started me on pureed foods. So for lunch, I did get pureed turkey and pureed green beans. So by day 2, I was already, you know, on a pureed diet. For dinner that night, they brought me some more of that liquefied soup, which was very good, along with some pureed chicken and some pureed peas. Really yummy, really tasty. It was pureed form, so it went down really easy. It wasn't a strain on my throat or anything. They still made sure I had plenty of liquids throughout the daytime, whether it was apple juice, some more of the Boost, lemonade, unsweetened. It was all just really helpful. The more liquids I got down, I noticed my throat would also start to feel a lot better. The next day after that was the day that I actually was set to be discharged. I was not discharged until about 3 in the afternoon. So they did provide me, of course, with breakfast, and it was kind of the same as the first day after surgery, the same meal tray. So I was back, still eating that pureed food along with the yogurt and the Boost nutrition shake for protein intake. Also, I was back still walking, just trying to be as active as possible, just to still relieve the gas because, 2 days after surgery, I was still had a lot of gas, and they said that was going to be absolutely normal for about a week. So that was my norm for the time I was in the hospital. So just walking just helped to relieve that gas a whole lot. So another thing I kind of just want to give you guys about my hospital stay is the hospital bag. They did advise that we do bring a hospital bag. They advise that we bring at least 2 changes of night clothes, at least some slippers, some socks, undergarments, toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, things like that, body wash. Like some people need walkers. They wanted you to bring a CPAP machine if needed. In my bag, I literally brought my undergarments, I brought nightgowns, I actually brought change of clothes for when I go home, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, body wash, things like that. Out of my whole entire stay in the hospital, I did not touch that bag but one time, and it was actually for my toothpaste, the toothbrush, and the deodorant. Literally the whole time that I was in the hospital, I stayed in a gown, and they did provide those comfy hospital socks. So I literally didn't need anything out of my hospital bag that I brought. So I guess they were just doing it as a precaution, but I didn't need anything out of it except those few very essential items. So the next time that I did use my hospital bag was to get out my change of clothes to go home in. So I would definitely recommend bring the bare minimum, but definitely do not overpack because you probably won't use majority of the stuff that you bring. So that is just a brief synopsis of my hospital stay. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I can't wait to get back to you guys. Have a good day.